Welcome back to another Ruthless Ideas podcast. Today we have a Kevlar reinforced shirt. So this month I've been about movies and making things from movies. And so I kind of explained in the video, but the reason why I did a shirt is because I was going to do John Wick's vest that blocks bullets. So his bulletproof suit vest jacket thing. But I also heard a bunch of stories about how police were getting attacked by dogs and them kind of getting their arms extremely damaged. And so I kind of felt, I wouldn't say moved, but more of motivated to be helpful, I guess is the word. And so I wanted to help as much as I could, so I thought I might as well try and make a shirt that is semi-bulletproof, but also puncture proof, to kind of do two bullets in one. Yeah, two birds with one stone. So what this is it's a shirt that's reinforced with Kevlar with two sets of healing properties. So one is a shape memory polymer, and then the other one is a bioengineered protein. And so what this does is the Kevlar is infused in on top, so that prevents the punctures. And then the two spots underneath, and two healing properties, they get activated by moisture, by heat, and then by friction and kind of just wearing it, it sort of heals itself. And so this allows for multiple different uses. So you have puncture proof. It technically would be bulletproof, but the only problem is when you get shot with a bullet, the bulletproof doesn't stop the bullet, it just prevents it from going through. So you'd still get all of the pressure from the bullet, which could break your arm and not be good. But the bullet wouldn't go through. It also would protect from most cuts and kind of with knives and stuff, but it also, that's not the best for Kevlar. So if you're going with the stuff, you probably could get through. But the two healing properties would be able to heal itself so that your shirt would stay together. The Kevlar wouldn't be there, but you'd still have the shirt healing to give you that same kind of protection because it brings everything close together, so you probably won't get hit in the same spot. So this allows for a little more protection because you don't have a big hole in your arm and the shirt now. It's covered up. And so now it's just a little easier to continue going, continue doing whatever you're doing, and also protect you again from getting hit in that same spot. So kind of cool. I think it has a lot of different applications. I kind of talked about this in the video, but hiking, survival, military, police, firefighting. There's a lot of ways you can use this. There's a lot of ways you can upgrade these types of clothes. And so you could make it where it's flame resistant and puncture proof as well. It's just there's a ton of different ways you can take it that could have a lot of different benefits. And so it was cool to tackle this and kind of figure out everything that goes on with it. But I don't think this is too far-fetched of an idea. It definitely could happen. Again, this is from John Wick, so it's he had a suit. So technically you could make the suit, but he literally just has two sides of a vest that protect him. And so if you got shot in the legs at all, you're donezo. So yes and no. It works, it doesn't. But the main emphasis is dog attacks for police. That's the main stopper. So next one is something I actually turned out way cooler than I thought it could. So it is a holographic table. So I got this idea from Tony Stark, which is from the Iron Man movies plus Avengers. And so I really wanted to make it holographic, where you can touch things, move it, and like make it how he does in the movies. But it's impossible right now to have that work without having VR glasses or any type of addition, because he just does it bare knuckle pretty much. He does it bare hands, no glasses, and everything's there in front of him. And he can interact with it, he can move it, he can scale it, and it goes all around his workshop. So the reason is you can't light up a particle to in that spot, which is how holograms work. It's like you light up a particle, and then that particle is what is there now. And so then that's what lights up, and then you just have a bunch of them that creates the hologram. And so when it's with like the current holograms, you have like fog, which is just a projection on a fog screen, or you have projections up, but you're just putting pins in space and you can't move that because it's just light. And so making Tony Stark's holograms almost impossible. And there was no good way to kind of make my way out of it, and I couldn't figure out a way to get it where it's a new invention. So I just went a different route and went for magnetics. So I had 2 electromagnets on the top and bottom with a bunch of little beads on the inside. And then the beads have little microcontrollers in it so that it can change colors. And so the whole object is the top and bottom electromagnets can adjust their polarity to create an image, and the beads in the middle move and shape to that image. And then that allows you to be able to grab the part or whatever you're 3D modeling and move it. And then the electromagnets would adjust. And so this would be integrated heavily with AI, because you need to add machine learning to this, where if you move it once, it slowly adjusts and realizes, oh, I have to adjust and move the polarity so that it stays with it. And so if you do that enough, you'll be able to get it where you could spin the thing and it spins for a long time, but it still maintains its shape, which is really cool. And it's kind of like it would help show and give the same actions that Tony Stark's holograms were doing, yet still be feasible right now. So the only thing is the magnetic polarity and the AI adjustment with that. But that's something you can easily kind of work towards and adjust to where you get that kind of harmony between the magnets and the magnetic balls. And so that's the cool part. It's awesome, and I think it has real in-world applications where it could become useful. It's just getting that harmony is going to be the problem. So, but hey, it's okay. It's all right. We will get there soon. So, but now on to the next thing. We're talking about kinda a little bit 3D printing, kinda a little bit about this cool job that I got. So we're gonna start out 3D printing. So you ever have an idea? Now, just remember, this is not a pitch to get a 3D printer. It's gonna sound like it, but it ain't. So you ever have an idea and you're just like, man, I wish I could make this. And then you go and try and prototype it with, say, popsicle sticks or something from your dad's like barn or garage or workshop. It just never turns out how you pictured. Well, that's 3D printing. And if you don't know, 3D printing is pretty much the easiest way to prototype things, because you just need the model and then you put it into the 3D printer. There's obviously a couple more steps, but you put it into the 3D printer and it spits out your product exactly how you made it. And that is awesome, because there's so many people who just, honestly, when I was younger, I wish I had a 3D printer, because I had so many ideas that I would try and make, and it just never worked. And it sucked, because my mind created this perfect, beautiful prototype or product, and it was next level. And then I went to make it, and it was just crap. And honestly, it was so irritating. Or I'd like go to draw something, never turned out how I wanted. But when I finally got to like 3D modeling, that was the time where it actually turned out how I wanted, because I wasn't limited to creativity. I was only limited by my skills with the program. So it's like now pretty much anything I think of goes right into a 3D printer and it gets made. So one idea I have had is Neuralink. That's Elon Musk's not new, but one of his companies, that you put a sensor on your spinal cord, and then, like right now he's using it for paralyzed people, but they can now like walk, move, talk, kind of all that stuff. And so it's a benefit. And I think it'd be really cool if you're able to use that, or some type of head device thing that reads your thoughts, and then you just think about what it is, you use AI to model that up, and then it automatically sends it over to a 3D printer, and then you could just 3D print everything you quote unquote see/think about. And I think that would be insane. I also think it would be fun to have maybe a young child, if it's not a Neuralink, if it's just like a headband you put on, give it to a child and see what they think of, because they have like the best imagination, best creativity ever, whether it's directed towards something specifically or just in general. But that would be cool, and I think that's one of the next levels of like prototyping, is you don't have to learn the skills of solid modeling, you just have to learn the skills of thinking correctly where you can create that model. And maybe it doesn't just send it right away, maybe you get to like look at it before, but still could be pretty cool. Could be kind of the next thing. But yeah, it is what it is. And then, but on the same note of 3D printers, I just got a job interview for this new company that sells 3D printers and sells like the STLs, which is how you 3D print the products, which is awesome because it's toy making. And I don't know if you don't know. I don't know if you know that my dream is to make fidget toys for special needs kids and kids with learning disabilities. And so this is just another step to getting closer to that. So again, my Ruthless Ideas is kind of the backbone of it, where that's where I get to test out all these different products, all the different toys. I am going to have a month of making toys. So I'll have 8 new toys that will be kind of sweet. So yeah, but it's going to be awesome. I'll let you know if I got it. But thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed. And if you have any more questions about 3D printers or anything to do with 3D printing, let me know. Hit me up at any of the socials. Hit me up, comment on this podcast, and I'll answer it. I love talking about 3D printing. So thank you very much, and I'll see you next week. Goodbye.